All right. Good morning. Happy Monday. Quick sound check. Hope everybody had a good weekend. There it is. What's up, Hassan? We just front ran this S&P level here by a tick. New monthly candle. I don't normally look at the monthly all that much. But yeah, June 1st. Start of the new month. See what this market wants to do. I'm looking across the board this morning, and we got about 10 seconds here till the bell. Microsoft is ridiculous. Meta going a little crazy. But yeah, just looking across the board this morning, and the only thing we really have is ISM numbers coming out at 10. Otherwise, we're running purely based on price here. There's nothing crazy. Good volume in the overnight session. Percentage changes, Russell is the weakest here. So kind of keeping an eye on that. I also do really like NVIDIA here potentially for the week. S&P's just tested that level too. S&P's just tested this level here. 75, 76, 75 just traded. We front ran in the NASDAQ there. But if we start pushing up over 405s, that'll be a little interesting. NASDAQ pushing up to these 405s here now. Dow going crazy. I see your comment now. That's fine. Yeah, Dell's going crazy. Second day earnings move. Let's see what. Do we have 0Ds on these? No. Holy expensiveness. At the money, 452s, $21. It's $2 wide spread on the contracts. Like, that's obnoxious. It's disrespectful, honestly. They've traded a whopping 26 contracts so far this morning. $1.30 widespread, $2.30 widespread. Nah. Nah. Yeah, PLTR, it's got 163.30s above to try and go get. I think my favorite on the week at the moment is NVIDIA. Just debating whether or not it still needs 205s. I don't think it does. But we've got to get over this 217.60s and then be able to do something with that. And ideally we do it with market, but I don't really know that we have that yet. There was nothing that stood out to me this morning. It was like, even last night when I scanned, there was nothing that was like outside of NVIDIA. Like, that's pretty much the only thing. Otherwise, it was like, eh. Longs, long dong silver. Not yet, I don't think. I mean, I like NASDAQ pushing up through these 405s, but and S&Ps came off 76, 75s pretty well. Russell Dow, I'm not entirely too sure what they want or are trying to do. And they might not know either, honestly. Is it working now? Oh, sweet. NASDAQ getting a nice, oh, there goes NVIDIA. Pullbacks on NVIDIA here, I like. NASDAQ came down and traded at 3299.50s in pre-market session there now. We've bounced about 150 points from there. There's still room up into kind of 3600s with the overnight session. See if NASDAQ wants to pull back here to these 405s. I'm not super interested in a long ride off of them, but that would be the area once we get above, which we've done, in order to hold. The Russell and the Dow still sitting underneath opening print for both of them. They haven't really figured out what they're doing yet. Shit. 407's traded there. NASDAQ front running that a little bit here. Some interesting weakness in AMD considering NVIDIA has some strength. I guess NASDAQ does want to hold off this 405s. Such a quick test. Quick 30+ point pop off that. Still nothing here in the Russell and Dow though. Is the same. You got to go soon, maybe later in the week. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see today being a little bit funky just with the way that Russell Dow is traded in the pre-market compared to everything else. And then now how we're trading here under the open, we're trying to push back up. Like Russell's trying to get back towards 2907s. Meta coming back off pretty hard. Tesla's down, $10. The Russell's in an interesting spot. We kind of front ran those lower levels. Part of me thinks the Dow wants to try and pop here a bit. And did just put in new highs. Came back and retest opening print area here. I don't really want to trade the weakest names though. Like the Russell Dow, if they present an opportunity for a long, it doesn't seem like the smartest idea. It looked good there for a second. And Russell still kind of does, like it's trying to hold, but you can see that they're getting a little bit more weakness here than S&P's NASDAQ for sure. Russell here just sitting slightly under opening print there. NASDAQ's going to be the one to move. IBM. Eee. That's tough. That one's tough. It's so far. It's got 349s above though. I don't know. That one's tough for me at the moment. I think that needs to chill a little bit more. Like it's freaking IBM. 220 to 320s, like, yeah, I don't know about that. IBM's never moved that much if you added all of its movement up over the last like decade together. Russell's trying to hold on here. I kind of feel like that wants to go, but And gold's fairly weak as well, down 2%. The only thing I would say at the moment is you could potentially be long S&Ps off 76, 75s, or you could potentially be long NASDAQ off 405s. Whether I think those get continuation or not is a different story, but there is room obviously to overnight high area, but we don't have Russell Dow fully in favor of that yet, it doesn't seem like. The Dow actually pushing back up here towards opening print. I mean, if you guys have anything, obviously feel free to throw it out there. It's a Monday morning, first thing here. We got news in 10 minutes. Like, I'm not super eager to do too much. The only thing I kind of wish I had on would be NVIDIA here over those 217s. Looks really good. Part of me kind of wouldn't be surprised to see NASDAQ go back down to 299s though. Just because we front ran it, like that's the only reason. NASDAQ getting a little bit of weakness. Looks like Dow is trying to push up here towards opening print. What's up, Derivator? Oracle, 232s, yeah. Yeah, that level 235 is right above. We traded it, obviously pre-market session. Those big spikes. No, nothing major, unfortunately. I mean, I say that because it's up 3%, but the Dow's getting some movement there. Russell trying to go towards lows. Adobe. Take a look. Yeah, I don't mind that. Russell looks like it wants new lows. Dow looks like it wants to rally here. NASDAQ going through those 405s. We got 5 minutes until that news. Just kind of a mixed market here. Russell pushed down here. 28.91.20 is now traded. I did say I wouldn't be too surprised if NASDAQ came back down to those 299s. Netflix with a pretty decent little rally this morning. There's no signal on the Russell, but it did at least make the new lows and then now trying to rally. Whether it can or not is a different story, but it's at least trying to maybe give the semblance that it can. The Dow is like, it wants to rally, but it's struggling to do so. I mean, you can see it pushing highs, 51.038s there. That's new highs. Meanwhile, NASDAQ's getting down close to opening print here. I would like something more obvious. I don't know how else to like describe that. About 30 seconds here until that news hits. Markets look like they're kind of bracing for it at the moment. Divergence with NASDAQ there. My charts are a little funky. I don't know about anybody else's, but my charts are kind of skippy, frozen type looking. There we go. Now we're coming off those 299s. Yeah, NASDAQ was, that was weird. I'm like kind of frozen up again a little bit. I don't really know what to make of that. Is Toss doing that for anybody else, or is it just me? Okay, so it's doing it for everybody. I'm gonna chill for a minute then. Not that we haven't been chilling this morning, but I'm debating whether S&P's hold opening print, NASDAQ holds the level down here. We do have a slight divergence in place. And it kind of makes sense that we could see a bit of a pop here, but I mean, again, this would be the area 299s wants to hold. Technically, I guess you could make an argument that there's 300 points worth of room above here if we go back up to 595s. I want to put NASDAQ on here, but I don't fully trust Toss at the moment either, so I'm like, eh. But again, if this is going to hold true, then this divergence in here from 299s could lead us all the way back up into highs and potentially, 595, those overnight highs as well. So I'm getting a pretty decent little bounce there now, which is kind of pushing us back towards opening print here. $300 NASDAQ points is attractive though. S&P holding off opening print there. I think you could try a little bit of NASDAQ here. You can either look to take some down in around this area, 30, call it 325s. Stops down under 91, so it's about 35 points, give or take. Or you could look to take some up over like 3350s, and your stop's kind of got to be at the same place. It just depends whether you want like an actual trigger to this or not. I think either or is fine, just depends on obviously sizing and rules and things for you. Over 350 is obviously a little bit quote unquote safer. Technical trigger. I do like the idea of the Russell potentially wanting to hold down here too. That would make for a nice little kind of pullback there. Daily chart. Weekly's actually kind of taking out prior lows, but if it comes back, it'll put a nice bottoming tail in place. NASDAQ's getting up over those 350, so you could have entries in either place or both, I guess, technically. You took some NVIDIA 0DTE 220s. I don't mind that. Kind of a nice little shimmy right there under like 218s and change. Yeah, I see it. How much are those? It's probably not a bad trade. $1.70. A little more than I'd like them to be, but Yeah, they're not bad. Kind of want to let NASDAQ do its thing. Anybody take that take that NASDAQ entry down there? Whether it was 325 area or 350s. Scalping it. It'd be a little bit easier of a long had we not gone higher first thing this morning. But at this point, I think we should probably hold opening print here on any kind of retest like what we just did. And then ideally we can see up through 405s be second test on the day. I think we try and go for the 300 point target, 35.95s. I'm also just watching Meta and Tesla like slowly fade away. The market's fairly yeah. Thursdays. What's gonna be off your lips? Rock all the doors. Market's getting a little jumpy. A little bit jumpy. The first test is gonna be yeah, the zero DTE premiums are just they're different. I like Nvidia though. I think it looks really good. Like I said, it was one of my favorite things coming into the day. I don't love that Russell and Dow are kind of doing what they're doing, but NASDAQ so far is holding, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. It's a really nice looking 15-minute though with that weekly in Nvidia. Julian call it CRM. Oh, nice. So gab up and run. The Dow's still trying to hold this opening print here. NASDAQ really not getting the movement I would like to see. 10-15. I'd like to see us get up over 405s. That's the thing I would like to see. By the way. Spell it's written on his face. Yeah, I didn't see anything for a while in NVIDIA. Like realistically, not till 225s. I think that's what makes it interesting. And realistically, 234s is like the goal weekly target. If you want a new NASDAQ entry, I think it's right here. Stops down under that 38 that we just did. What is that? Sorry, that moved a lot. That was just breaking that prior bar as low. Kind of a little shimmy there. I don't know if anybody got that additional entry there, but we would need to see some continuation and follow through on that move now to really kind of get this thing going. But I think, like I said, I think we have room if we can get up through 405s, which we traded 403s there. Little front run of that. I still don't love the Russell Dow. NVIDIA is doing its thing though, like having a really, really nice looking move. You could be long that or NASDAQ. Either one I think is fine. NVIDIA probably stands on its own a little bit more. But yeah, up over 405s, I think the potential for us to get 595s is really nice. That's what I'm trying to hold on for. I don't know what Mark is doing here. This is kind of brutal looking. Yeah, I think with all this kind of mess going here. Wow. I'm gonna move stops up. I'm just gonna put stops under this 38.50 area here. Give it a couple points, call it like 35 and a quarter, call it 36.50. Just pick a number down there somewhere. If we get trailed out of this or we get stopped out of this on some type of like bad little tick, then it is what it is. But this 2-minute bar here being 64 points on NASDAQ, and it's like, we got a pretty decent pop there. We traded 2-point front run of 405s. The ticks are still technically negative on the day. Like we're at minus 320s at the moment, and NASDAQ's trying to push higher. Russell is weak. Dow is weak here. Russell's down 1.14%. NASDAQ's basically unchanged. We're at like 24 points, right? That can change in literally half a second. So I just don't love the way this is. I think it still does the thing. I just think it's going to give you an aneurysm on the way. Long NASDAQ from 299s. Oh, my entry is not 299s, but long off of the 299s with a divergence. Let's see what it wants to do. Like I said, if we get through 405s, then I think we have room to those 595s overnight highs. I'm just trying to let it do its thing until then. Trading this 405s now. Nvidia looks really good. Dell actually same thing. I just feel like I'm chasing at this point. $2.25s or 50 cents. Yeah, I looked at them a couple of times. I'm struggling with my entry should have been somewhere around 217s, and now we're 222s, and it's like, I have the NASDAQ on, so it's fine, but like, it's not at the same time because these 220s you're trading are already up over 100%. NASDAQ isn't necessarily going to do that. I'll take profit here. Stop loss. 3290s. 3325s. It's like 7.7 to 1. Just let it do its thing. I think it's the only thing we can do at this point. You could look for new entries if you really wanted to off 405s, but I don't know that I would, considering what the Russell and Dow are doing now. It's honestly probably not a bad place to potentially take some profits here, but yeah, NASDAQ coming back off there a little bit more than I would like. Debating whether I want to let NASDAQ come all the way back to under opening print or if we should look to do something with it. This NASDAQ is just like pushing up through 405s now. We might have the opportunity here to potentially raise stops up to like somewhere under 368s there. I don't fully trust this just yet to do it, but Dow coming all the way back down. Looking like it wants new lows. NASDAQ can reject here off these 405s. We go lower, 1031. NASDAQ moving. This might be the easiest slash boring trade ever, but no, it doesn't. It's not helping Russell or Dow either. Anybody still in the NASDAQ? Or we're just all chilling and holding on for the ride at this point? Yeah, and it didn't move that much either, from your entry at least. The boomer index. Yeah, the Dow is struggling here. I'm kind of debating here whether or not we should pull trails up under this 368 low. And if we pop through highs up here, like 470s, then maybe we'll pull trails up under this 391s. I was trying to see what that looks like. NASDAQ starting to make that move. No, I just have the extended session on, so it's automatically on there. But no, I don't use the 6 p.m. open. I'm still watching the 344s, the opening print from today. We used that earlier. I just have that. The screen that I share is just a straight up 2-minute chart with extended on that sits kind of like behind my main window. So bad, hurt so bad, hurt so bad. This is brutal. Let me turn this back on just to see what we're working with here, but Looking at waiting to see if we can't get up there towards 595s. Dow has not quite gotten that new low just yet down here. We printed 858s this morning and so far 861s on lows, so 3 ticks shy. S&Ps are trying to hold opening print. Working with a Ponzi. Certainly a Ponzi, for sure. Certainly a Ponzi here this morning. What are we looking at? We're looking at some slow, boring markets. We got a weak Russell, weak Dow, both making new lows currently at the moment. S&Ps are trying to hold opening print. If you really think that we're going to hold here, the longs on S&Ps aren't bad with stops under like 81s. Considering NASDAQ's up holding over 405s, it's the only market that's technically green on the day. It's up 10 points at the moment. Obviously 10 points isn't really worth mentioning in the NASDAQ, but I think in this case, I think it does, just because of where everything else is. It looks to be the leader. We took an entry down here in the NASDAQ around 10 o'clock-ish for the divergence. So now we're just looking to see if we can make it to targets. And I'm scrolling Tractor Supply on the side. I've been flipping between Lowe's, Home Depot, and Tractor Supply. And that's pretty much it. Russell down, new lows. Nasdaq trying to push. We got I mean, at the moment we got a decent 100 points here in the Nasdaq, right? Depends if you took your entries up here over 350s or you took down around 325s. Yeah. I'm wondering if we lose this here, if S&Ps take out this opening print. It is definitely some weird action. That is 100% fact at this point. Like, I don't even honestly want to watch. Yeah, if you missed it this morning, I would certainly sit on hands here. Like I said, there's maybe something you can do in the S&Ps here off opening print, but it kind of got that little pop a minute ago when I was talking about that, and now it's not as interesting here. We're getting no love, no help from Russell Dow either. Worth a take profit. Yeah, I think Nasdaq probably gets these highs like 470s. That high is 467. I think we probably get that before really anything crazy. But I'm also just like, if we're gonna get that, we might as well go up to 600s. Doesn't mean it has to, obviously, but no, they're not easy, that's for sure. No, I mean I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at this point. No, that's kind of my thinking is like Nasdaq probably has to go get those highs before we go lower just to set that divergence in place. Obviously, we haven't done that yet, but again, I guess you could make an argument for the S&Ps, but no, those premiums are tough. They're at $1.02. I've been watching them. There's still another 150 points here, give or take, for NASDAQ to make the move. The problem we're going to start to run into is like technically stops are still down around like 335s at the moment, which is like 110 points. I think we should probably bring stops up. But at the same time, I also not trying to get wicked out on some nonsense. So I'm trying to float a delicate line on that. Tiffany, she's my little poison. She came with a warning. It is a tough read. I think NASDAQ pushes higher though. We got the divergence down there. I even said it. I mean, we're up at like, basically where we are now, just over in here, 945-ish. And I was like, I kind of wouldn't be too surprised to see us, trade back down to these 299s. Which again, it makes sense. She's my pretty little poison. Dow's getting a little bit of love off lows now. Riding at sunset. What do you want to wait for? Ain't there yet. Russell Dow getting a nice little pop off lows here. S&P's holding opening print. They're actually moving a little bit better here now than NASDAQ. Like I said, I like this Russell. I like the idea of this Russell from a daily perspective. If it can hold down in this area, 2885, 2891s, that is starting to look like it's coming true here. Like I said, S&P is holding that opening print really nicely now. 8350s. We did trade the 7675s, which is nice. Sunset, that's the kind you wanna wait for. Do. Part of me wants to just, that pop was fairly decent. We didn't quite get those new highs, but it looked like we were going to do it. And then we got new high ticks there. So part of me wants to go ahead and bring the stops up here under like 390s and try and lock this in a little bit more. There's still like 160 points to highs though. What am I thinking about? I'm scrolling between Home Depot, Lowe's, Tractor Supply, Facebook Marketplace at the moment. I'm just doing anything to not really look at the charts in too much depth. That's the main objective at the moment. I had a little conversation with chat just to see what it said. Yeah, we grabbed some NASDAQ down. There was two entries down there, somewhere around like 325s or somewhere up over 350s at opening print. So either one should be decent green here at this point. NASDAQ's gonna get that high, it looks like. All right, Nasdaq's getting that new low. Or new high, sorry. Like, wait a minute. All right. I think we close this. Under 40s, I'm going to close this. Market's got a shot at 440s here. Could go under 37s, but I don't think it makes much of a difference. So 3440s, give or take, right in through there. Putting new stops in place. We got about 25 points, give or take, from right here worth of risk to the downside. There's still 130 points to the upside for us. So I think that's a good spot for us to be in at the moment. We've managed to hold this, you know, again, essentially you could have 130, 140 points in this here. Or you could have like 110 depending on your entry from opening print area, 344, give or take. Can I tell NVIDIA? Yeah, that'd be great actually. 15-minute bicep, hourly 1, 2, 3. That would certainly be nice. Told me living this life would be lonely. All right. Dow making a nice little push there too. S&Ps, Russell, everything kind of coming off these lows a bit. Nasdaq pushing these highs. I like that. Living this life would be lonely. Yeah, there you go. NVIDIA, nice little rally on that. I got about 150 points in the NASDAQ here. Stops are 37 points lower. There's about 120 points still to target, so we're not bad there. 43, yeah. Still fine. If we could do it relatively quickly here, 1122s. Realistically, anything up over like 536s. Those are those Friday highs. Anything kind of up over that, I think we're in a really good spot. Well, risk reward is going to start to get skewed at a certain point, but I'm not opposed to trying to hold for the extra 100 points here. AMD coming back with a vengeance there, 490 to 5. Shit's rallied 25 points. That's actually fairly impressive. Yeah, that's fairly impressive. Oh, living this life would be lonely. Yeah, we've got it. We're sitting pretty decent here. Just shy of like 5 Rs, which has turned into a very nice Monday. I'm just trying to do everything I can to not fire truck this up. You know what I'm saying? So I guess at current price, like 30, yeah, we could do this, right? So at current numbers, we got stops in now at 3440s. So assuming that we keep everything else the exact same, if that becomes our exit, right, that's about 3.29 risk reward ratio. So we got a little over 3 Rs kind of locked in there. And ideally, we finish it out and get it up to 595s, right? And that'll give us, a little over 7 Rs, which would be nice. Uh, 595. It's just the overnight high up there from last night. Back here at what, just shy of midnight. But yeah, I mean, stops are in place at this point. I went ahead and moved stops up there, like I said. So at this point, we either come back 35, 40 points here and kind of take us out, or we go to targets. And ideally, in a perfect world, NASDAQ can run up and go take those targets. And then the shit that I just ordered at Lowe's will be ready for me to go pick up. And we can get on with the day. Or it'll come back down and trail us out. And we'll lock in about 3 Rs, give or take. Past 2 evals, eligible for another payout. Let's go. Nice. Good work, Joe. I dream of you, sleepless in a hotel. Whoa, whoa. In a hotel, missing you. I dream of you. Yeah, AMD had a really ridiculous move there off the lows. We're getting a nice little push out of the Russell, though. I'm kind of looking at this move. I don't know. We could do something with it today, but I don't really know that it makes the full move today that I want to see. Like, I'd much rather long this like up over 2930s, 2940s. Like, let it actually prove this. Obviously, if it wants to do that, then, you know, there's a lot of room there, and we probably should have been paying a little bit closer attention down around 2985s like we talked about. But also not trying to add a stupid amount of risk on a Monday. Even though it looks like it would have paid pretty well. Intoxicated my mind. I didn't love the way 11:30 here, by the way. I didn't love the way we were acting with toss down here at these lows. That's the thing in which I really didn't like. All right, NASDAQ making a push here. I don't know what this is. Looks like some type of news announcement potentially here. My mind, strong and amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and bring trails up to say like, I don't know, 510 maybe. I think that's fair. Russell rallied up and traded that 2907.20s, traded 2907.40s there, pretty nice. Like I said, I put my stops in at, I brought the trails up to 510 here. We traded 540, which gave us like 50 points left to targets. I'll give that 30 points to come back. It's nothing special. Like, it's just an arbitrary number. But I think that, and I mentioned this, if we got the pop up over 536s, like we're pretty much there. Our stops were down at 440s. We brought those up 70 points on the jump just now to 510s. And again, it's just purely an arbitrary number of where we were at 540s and giving it 30 points on a pullback, assuming that there's give or take like 60 points to go. That's legitimately all I'm doing with that. And we'll see if it wants to hold in there, but turns out pretty decent. Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all. This is probably where I should like give you the pitch on like join the mentorship. Learn how I did this. It was legitimately a level with a divergence, so it was kind of as picture perfect as you could want in a way. Couple little things I would tweak if I could change the chart a bit, but like I said, I'm not mad about it. The risk reward here was stupid good, so. All right, that low 2-minute chart, 523.50s. So we're going to be getting kind of the move up here. There's nothing we can do with the stop at the moment. Still 510s is probably fine. Because I thought NASDAQ had the better risk reward and it was the stronger market. Percentage wise on the day, NASDAQ has been the stronger market overall. Like S&P's on this bar literally just turned green. Everything else still red. Russell was down over 1.2%, I think it was at lows. It was down almost 1% coming into the day, right around here, 0.65%. Excuse me. 6 a.m. I've been watching sleep. You know me. No, if we can get another push here up through like 55.50s, I'm probably going to bring stops to like 525s. I'm half tempted to do it now, just save the 15 points. But just waiting to see if we can kind of push up through here one more time. If, like I said, if so, we could probably do it now, honestly. I'm going to move stops up to 55.25s. 30.525s, sorry. 35.25s when we clear 550s, which we just did. All right, stops are in place at 525s now. If we get taken out, we get taken out. It is what it is. There's about another 50 points or so for us to go into targets. So I'm not willing to give that back a crazy amount of room. If it wants to continue to run, I'm okay with it, but it's gotta continue to move and not do anything funky here. It's a really nice move so far. I got about 221 points at the moment on my entries. $220 points. Let's see if we can continue this push here. Keep your head down. I'll close my eyes. I can tell you though, if this comes down and hits our stop at 55.25s, we are going to be walking away on the day. And I'm going to be okay with that. Don't lose it if you got no time to do it. Let nobody clip your wings. So close my eyes. Don't be back up when you need. We did a whole lot of no thinking today, and it worked out really well in our favor, so. Appreciate that, KG. And we out. Sweet. I'm good with that. We can change this here just to see what it ends up being. Like I said, if that ends up being a pullback to 525s and then we rally and it ends up being what it is, like I'm okay with that. Applying okay. So good for 5.7 risk to reward ratio on that. A little over 5 Rs. So for me, it was right at about 200 points. And we had 35 points worth of stop in that. Like I said, if we come down, we wick 525s and then we rally. Maybe our 510s would have held in there. Yeah, 520s. That's gonna be funny. But yeah, I'm more than okay with essentially where we ended up at here on the day. So, do I have a Discord and how do I sign up for it? So honestly, wouldn't. Yes, you can join the Discord, but it's not gonna make a ton of sense unless you've taken the mentorship. Realistically, you can obviously tune in the live streams and all that stuff, but the Discord is at the moment mostly meant and has the tools for people that have taken the mentorship, and it's meant as kind of an add-on for them. But yeah, there is a free Discord link you can check out. Let me see where it's at. I think it's this one. Let me find out for you. Yeah, this one's the free link. There you go. Oh, he took the S&Ps instead. Oh, that sucks. It happens. It happens. Overall, though, nice day. Super happy with that. But yeah, Anthony, if you join the Discord, then just shoot me a DM if you're interested in more information on the mentorship. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me today. Levels plus divergence worked out really, really nicely. Individual names I thought were a bit of a hit or miss. The mentorship is $19.99, so $2,000. So basically 100 NASDAQ points. And we just pulled 200 NASDAQ points out of this one trade. That's kind of wild, actually. I should probably raise the price. Yeah, the 299.50s is a true level. It's kind of a tricky one though. You got to look for it. The levels indicator for TradingView caught it as well. We had 299.50s and then 405 quarters. I just dropped it in the chat here a couple seconds ago. See if I can. I'll just pin that message. Does that work? I don't actually know. Does it show if I do that? If I pin it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'll shoot you a DM once you join. And then if you have any questions, I can answer them through there for you. I like to do that too just because there are some like bullshit accounts of me. Like they're not technically in my server, so I don't know how, like I don't know what their name is in my server, but they'll try and reach out to you and like claim that they're me type thing. So yeah, I got you. I just hit you back. Yeah, I'm cool with how it turned out. Dow's just finally making it back to opening print as well. Maybe trying to hold. I would venture to say that's probably the bulk of the move for today. Yeah, I mean, NASDAQ's got a 259 point range on the day. And we pulled 200 points out of it, so I'm more than happy with that. The only reason I'm sitting here is because Lowe's has not texted me that my order is ready. But sweet. Well, I'm gonna roll. Let's see what we got. going later on. Nice start to a Monday though. Like, I don't know what else to think here at the moment. Probably not gonna try and think. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna roll. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys caught the NASDAQ long there. I think our exit's gonna be pretty solid on that. I'm happy with that. Good patience. Total trade time was from what, basically 10 o'clock to 11:40, so like an hour and 40 minutes. Fairly decent. I'm okay with it. So, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, obviously feel free to hit me up, shoot me a DM, whatever the case is, and we'll run it from there. But yeah, nice start to the Monday, and we'll see what the rest of this week wants to bring. I looked at the calendar here. It's the first of June. So we had some ISM stuff this morning, and then we've got a little bit of stuff on Wednesday, some more ISM stuff and non-farm. Thursday we have some unemployment claims, which I'm not entirely sure why that's an orange folder, not a red folder, unless we just don't care at this point about unemployment claims. I'm not sure. And then Friday is a big one because we have the non-farm employment change and then the unemployment rate. So in my opinion, unemployment claims being an orange folder and then the unemployment rate being a red folder, I would venture to say they both should probably be a red folder. But yeah, we've got at least a couple of things on the calendar this week for some potential news that I think could be fun. So, and obviously markets are having pretty nice ranges. So, excuse me. Anyways, that's what I got. I am gonna roll. Obviously, like I said, hit me up if you guys need me. But appreciate you guys. Code MLT at all your favorite prop firms. Appreciate the support on that. And yeah, we'll run it from there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.